Tell me about your like background, ethnicity, and does that affect your life over here? Because we all know that South Africa went through apartheid period when people were classified into different groups.
You know, I was born in apartheid, but I didn't grow up in apartheid. When I was a bit older, you know, that came to an end with Nelson Mandela being released from prison and all of that. So it didn't affect my life too much because I was kind of free, you know. But now with the new government, they brought this thing out called BEE. It's like a black empowerment and stuff. So it's kind of the roles are kind of reversed. So I feel like colored people, you know, are still kind of in the middle. They're still not seeing the benefits of anything. But hopefully, you know, we've got this year there was an election, and the ANC government didn't get the majority of the vote. We'll see in the next 5 years how it goes. If things get better, hopefully, I've got hope for the future.
Whether you've just secured a major business contract, been awarded a bursary, landed a learnership, an apprenticeship, or a job through the YES program, or received funding to grow your enterprise, broad-based Black economic empowerment, or B-BBEE played a part in making that possible. There's a big misconception out there that B-BBEE excludes white people. That's not true. In fact, B-BBEE is about fostering inclusive economic growth for Black South Africans as defined by the Act. But it also opens the door to real collaboration. And let's be honest, smart people know that the real power in business lies in partnerships. Imagine what becomes possible when Black and white South Africans work together with intention. That would mean transformation can happen faster and even more meaningfully. The objective of this channel is simple: to educate. Frameworks such as B-BBEE have been created to support the people of South Africa in order to have access to the economic market. The responsibility is on you to learn and understand these policies, which is intended for your benefit, of course. But let's be honest as well. Most of these frameworks are so intricate, the jargon can be overwhelming. So my intention is to simplify B-BBEE, and you can decide what to do with that information. B-BBEE is not a framework of oppression. It's a toolkit for transformation, economic participation, and nation building. So it's time we shift the narrative. In this episode, we are breaking down the B-BBEE Scorecard, why it exists, what it measures, and why getting it right matters. As the people of South Africa, we have a responsibility to understand frameworks like this and to hold our leaders accountable for their implementation, especially when these frameworks have been so heavily misunderstood, politicized, and even stigmatized, often dismissed as just another entrepreneurial loophole for corruption. Welcome to B-BBEE and Beyond, where we explore South Africa's transformation journey from policy to social impact and everything in between. Let's dive in and set the record straight together. Before we dive into the details, here's a heads up. B-BBEE can get very technical. The codes, the pillars, the scoring, it's a lot. But don't stress. I have made it my mission on this channel to unpack each pillar in simple, understandable terms so that the people this framework was designed for can actually understand and use it. This channel is for you. Whether you are a student, a job seeker, an entrepreneur, an activist, or a corporate decision maker, B-BBEE impacts us all. And it's meant to. This is a framework for the people of South Africa, and it means it must also reach grassroots level. As we grow on this platform, we'll also be inviting subject matter experts to help us unfold the deeper layers of the policy. So please, stay tuned, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay informed. Let's start with the big question. Why does B-BBEE exist in the first place? B-BBEE, which stands for Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment, is a government policy designed to address the deep-rooted inequalities of South Africa's past. It's more than just compliance. It's about access, opportunity, and inclusion. During apartheid, Black South Africans were systematically excluded from the economy. They were denied land, education, capital, business ownership. So B-BBEE became a response to that legacy. It's a framework that aims to create meaningful participation in the economy for Black people as defined in the Act. Black people are the colored, Indian, and even South African Chinese, which we will discuss in a later video, who were disadvantaged under apartheid. So what does the B-BBEE Scorecard actually measure, you might wonder? Well, it's a tool that's used to assess a business level of contribution to economic transformation. And depending on the size of your business, there are different scorecards that you'll be measured against. EMEs, exempted micro enterprises. These are businesses with a turnover of less than 10 million rand per year. EMEs are automatically compliant and usually qualify as a level 4 contributor, which we'll look at the different levels a bit later in the video. If they are 51% or more Black owned, they can be enhanced to a level 2 or even a level 1 if they are 100% Black owned. No verification audit is needed, just an affidavit. QSEs, qualifying small enterprises, businesses with a turnover between 10 million and 50 million rand. These entities go through more complex evaluations, and if they aren't at least 51% Black owned, they'll need to score points across all 5 elements of the scorecard, which we introduced in the first video. For today, we'll be looking at management control, do a refresher's course on skills development, and also focus on socio-economic development. Generic enterprises. These are businesses with a turnover above 50 million rand. They face the strictest compliance requirements and must be measured across all scorecard elements: ownership, management control, skills development, enterprise and supply development, and socio-economic development. Here's where the challenge and curiosity kicks in. Let's say you are a QSE and your business is scaling fast, growth is exciting, until you hit the 50 million mark. That's when you move into the generic category and everything changes all of a sudden. Now you need to invest more in B-BBEE compliance, ownership structures, enterprise development, skills training, or you risk a lower score and missed opportunities. That's also the tension. You've grown your business, but now you are expected to spend more just to stay compliant. And many businesses aren't ready for that jump. And as I've mentioned, as the channel grows, we'll be bringing in subject matter experts who eat, sleep, and breathe this framework to help make sure that we all understand it, use it, and even challenge it when necessary. Let's start with the management control element. Management control measures how representative a company's executive and senior leadership team is in relation to South Africa's demographic profile, especially the representation of Black people, Black women, and Black people with disabilities at top decision-making levels. This element is about meaningful inclusion in the strategic and operational direction of a business. It evaluates the board of directors, executive management, for example, your CEOs, your CFOs, your COOs, senior and middle management, representation by race, gender, and disability status. Here's where many businesses struggle. Tick box appointments. Some companies appoint Black individuals to senior roles without real influence, just to score points. That is not transformation. It's tokenism, and it breeds resentment on both sides. What is tokenism? Tokenism is the practice of doing something, such as hiring a person who belongs to a minority group, only to prevent criticism and give appearance that people are being treated fairly. Skills pipeline issues. Many businesses said that they can't find suitably qualified Black executives, but this is often because they have neglected internal talent development or haven't built a leadership pipeline that promotes from within. Why management control matters. True transformation isn't just about ownership, it's about influence. Representation at the top means diverse thinking in decision making, stronger business performance, and yes, the research backs this, and younger Black professionals seeing themselves in leadership, which inspires ambition and growth. And let's be real, we cannot talk about inclusive economic growth if the faces in the boardroom never changes. Before we move on, it's important to pause and talk about employment equity, because many people confuse it with management control or think that it's the same thing as B-BBEE. It's not. Employment equity is a legal requirement under the Employment Equity Act, which aims to eliminate unfair discrimination in the workplace and also ensure fair representation of designated groups, particularly Black people, women, and people with disabilities across all occupational levels. So while B-BBEE under management control is focused on how diverse and representative your leadership is, employment equity focuses more broadly on the entire workforce composition and is governed by a different law with its own compliance obligations and penalties. And here's another kicker. Your employment equity performance feeds into your B-BBEE scorecard. If you are failing to transform your workforce, you'll feel it when it's time for verification. And yes, this is another area where some businesses cut corners only to find themselves at risk of being non-compliant or publicly exposed later. So again, knowledge is power, and knowing the difference matters. Now let's tackle skills development, which we introduced in the first video, but we'll go into further detail here. I already touched on skills development in the first video, but here I want to focus more on some points which I did not mention in the first video. My very first job was an internship. It didn't just give me a foot in the door. It gave me skills, confidence, and even a chance to prove myself in the workplace. That experience shaped my career, and it's also a reminder of why this element matters so much. It literally hits home. Skills development is about equipping Black South Africans with real, marketable skills, not just for compliance, but for meaningful participation in the economy. It's an investment in the future workforce, in entrepreneurs, in innovation, and in equity. So what is measured? This element looks at spend on accredited training for Black employees. You can also channel it as a learnership, internship, or apprenticeship for unemployed youth. And bonus points are given for absorption, whether those learners were employed after the program. There is an extra leg to the skills development element, but it also kind of stands on its own. And this is the YES program or initiative, where specifically unemployed youth are granted work experience, and the sponsoring company is incentivized with B-BBEE levels. We'll give it its own attention in a different video. So the skills element is a broad one, but its intention is clear. Build skills, build futures. As always, there are challenges, and you'll find them across companies, big and small. Many businesses treat skills development as a compliance checkbox, running irrelevant or short-lived training just to claim points. Others don't know how to structure proper learnership programs or feel overwhelmed by the SARS tax incentives and CETA processes. Some are afraid to invest, not seeing the return on investment in upskilling youth or unemployed learners. And yet, this can be the most cost-efficient and high-impact element when done right. The government even gives back in the form of tax breaks and grants. Here's a question. If skills development is this impactful, powerful element, then why are so few companies maximizing it? And how do we make it work for both people and profits? In upcoming episodes, we'll dive deeper into the YES initiative and speak to service providers and businesses who are getting it right. So stay tuned. Socio-Economic Development is the final element on the scorecard, also with the least amount of points. It focuses on contributing to the broader social upliftment of disadvantaged communities. This means businesses actively investing in programs that improve education, health, skills, and economic opportunities for Black South Africans. Unlike the other elements, SED is about giving back and driving positive change beyond your business. It's not just about compliance once again. It's about making a real, tangible difference in people's lives. While SED is powerful, there are challenges to keep in mind. Some companies treat SED as a checkbox exercise, making donations without strategic impact. Measuring the real outcomes of social projects can be difficult, and sometimes projects don't reach the communities they aim to serve. Another challenge is businesses may struggle to align their SED initiatives with their core values or industry. And there can be skepticism due to past misuse of funds or lack of transparency. Despite these challenges, SED offers businesses a unique chance to build trust, improve community relations, and contribute to the long-term transformation of South Africa. And now that we've wrapped up the elements conversation for this video, let's look at the B-BBEE levels. B-BBEE compliance is measured through levels, ranging from level 1 to level 8 plus non-compliance. These levels represent how well a business scores across the elements that we have discussed. Level 1 is the highest level, showing exceptional compliance and commitment to transformation. Level 8 is the lowest, meaning minimal compliance. And if a company doesn't meet minimum requirements, it is considered non-compliant. Why BBBEE levels matter? Your level determines access to business opportunities. Many companies and government entities prefer or require suppliers with higher BBBEE levels. Contract eligibility. Higher levels improve your chances of winning tenders, partnerships, and also contracts. Reputation and trust. Demonstrating commitment to transformation builds credibility with clients, partners, and communities. While everyone wants to be level 1 or 2, reaching these levels can be costly and complex. It often requires significant investment in transformation initiatives. This requires ongoing monitoring and improvement and navigating challenges such as fronting and complex regulations. But understanding your current level and working strategically to improve it is crucial for sustainable growth and real impact. Verification, or the BBBEE audit, is the formal process where an accredited verification agency assesses your business's compliance against the BBBEE Scorecard. What happens during the verification? The agency reviews your documentation and evidence for each scorecard element. They verify ownership, management control, skills development, enterprise and supply development, and socio-economic development initiatives. This includes confirming your procurement spend, employee demographics, training records, and any financial contributions to transformation projects. After the audit, you receive your BBBEE certificate showing your level and your scores. Why verification is important. It validates your BBBEE status and builds trust with clients and partners. Many businesses and government tenders require a valid certificate before awarding contracts. It helps you to identify gaps and areas for improvement in your transformation journey. Regular verification keeps your compliance status up to date and also credible. But keep in mind, the process can be time-consuming and detailed, so preparation is key. Accurate record keeping throughout the year makes verification smoother as well. Different verification agencies may specialize in specific industries or scorecard types. Up next, we'll dive into the scoring process. What holds the most points on the scorecard and why? What holds the most points? Each element on the BBBEE scorecard carries a specific number of points, adding up to a total of points that determines your level. Here's a quick breakdown of which elements typically hold the most weight. Ownership usually carries the highest points because actual black ownership is the foundation of transformation. Enterprise and supply development. This also has significant points, emphasizing support for black-owned businesses. Skills development, which is important for building capacity and long-term empowerment. Management control and employment equity. These focus on representation in leadership and workforce. Socio-Economic Development rewards businesses for impactful social initiatives. So we still need to address the ownership element, which we will in upcoming videos. Ownership shows real, tangible control by Black individuals over the business. ESD drives economic empowerment beyond your company, helping smaller Black businesses or enterprises grow. These two pillars reflect both internal transformation and broader economic impact, which is why they have heavier scoring. Achieving high scores in ownership and ESD often requires substantial investment. Businesses need to strategically allocate resources to hit targets without jeopardizing financial health. Poor planning can lead to losing BBBEE status or dropping to lower levels, which can limit business opportunities. Understanding this scoring hierarchy helps businesses focus their efforts wisely, transforming not to just comply, but to create lasting change. Next, we'll touch on the YES program, its introduction, and why it matters. As I've mentioned, we'll explore the YES program in a fully dedicated video. The YES program is a government-led initiative aimed at tackling youth unemployment in South Africa by creating paid internships, learnerships, apprenticeships, and job opportunities. Why was YES introduced? South Africa faces a significant challenge with youth unemployment. This program incentivizes companies to create opportunities for young people, especially from disadvantaged backgrounds. By participating, businesses can earn additional points and levels, supporting their overall score. So how does the YES program work? Businesses partner with young job seekers to provide meaningful work experience. These placements are usually paid and structured to develop skills and employability. The program fosters a pipeline of skilled youth entering the workforce, helping to reduce unemployment. Why YES matters to your business and community? Well, it's a win-win. Youth gain valuable experience and businesses build future talent. It also contributes to socio-economic transformation through meaningful empowerment. And it aligns with BBBEE objectives to promote inclusive growth and development. We'll dive into the YES program in an upcoming video, unpacking eligibility, benefits, and how your business can get involved. What's holding us back? While BBBEE is a powerful tool for transformation, it's no secret that many businesses and individuals face challenges with its complexity and technicality. The framework can be confusing and difficult to navigate, especially for small and medium enterprises. It is a costly compliance. Achieving and maintaining compliance, especially at higher levels, often requires significant financial investments. Then there is the issue that is known as the elite capture, which is a very real issue. Elite capture refers to a situation where resources, policies, or benefits that are intended to help the broader public, especially marginalized or disadvantaged groups, are instead dominated, diverted, or disproportionately accessed by a small, powerful group of elites, usually political, economic, or social leaders. And then there is the issue of corruption and fronting. Some misuse this system through dishonest practices like fronting, where businesses misrepresent their compliance to gain benefits. This issue alone needs a dedicated video because it's a lot. Misconceptions and stigma. Many people see B-BBEE as a barrier or a tool for tenderpreneurs rather than genuine empowerment. And if I'm being honest, that's also how I saw it at first before I knew better. So what are the solutions to these changes? The solution: partnerships and education. And this is where I come in. I help businesses build meaningful partnerships that drive real, impactful B-BBEE transformation. As an advocate for B-BBEE, I focus on sustainable change that benefits your company and the broader community. Education is key. This channel will continue to break down B-BBEE in simple terms, inviting experts who live and breathe this framework to share their insights. You don't have to navigate this alone. Reach out to me on LinkedIn or via email at info@marvelresolutions.com for a more personalized support. And as we've come to the end of this video, what are your thoughts on the B-BBEE Scorecard? Especially now that you have seen what it looks like and have a better understanding of its intentions. Have you experienced any challenges or success with it in your business or community? Drop your comments below and let's start a conversation and learn from each other. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more powerful insights on B-BBEE and how we can all drive meaningful change. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.